I used to need drugs.
Men who have been raped by women. What is your story? I was seeing someone else and was hanging out at a friend's party. A girl that was a friend of friend came over. I wasn't blackout drunk, but what happened I only remember pieces. She was completely sober as she didn't want to drink at night. I was drunk. After going to bed, I remember suddenly being aware I'm naked and I told her we had to stop and this was wrong, but she wrapped her arms around me and pleaded for me not to leave and things went black for a while. Things cleared up again for a minute again and I tried again to tell her no and to get away, but she wouldn't let me go and I blacked out again. Woke up the next morning feeling like the worst person in the world since I had a girlfriend. The girl apologized to me the next morning here not taking no for an answer and I told her I needed to try and work out what happened with my girlfriend. So a couple of weeks later, she lied to me and told me she was pregnant. It was all really terrible. My girlfriend didn't actually know what happened to me for a while. I told her that I had sex with someone when I was drunk, because I believed it was my fault. Girlfriend threw a bunch of condoms at me. Edit, thanks for the support. It's really appreciated. Edit 2, a lot of people were curious. I did manage to tell my girlfriend what actually happened to me after about a month or so. She decided to stay with me and try to work things out. We've been married for 6 years. The incident was about 10 or so years ago. We also did some couples therapy through our college and it helped immensely.
I was 17 and I got too drunk at a friend's house party.
He's pulling his cock out!
Falling and smacking my head against a countertop and was knocked unconscious, so I got carried and put into bed by some people. While I was unconscious, my friend's ex-girlfriend, who had been flirting with me all night, came in and did stuff with me. I don't even know to what extent because I was blacked out and only remember flashes. The only reason I know for a fact it happened is because the next day my other friend woke me up and said, "Dude, I can't believe you were doing stuff with Offender XTF. Well, friend who dated her is here, that's ballsy bro." And when I was like, "What the beef are you talking about?" He said he had walked in on us the night before and she was on top of me. I didn't even accept it happened for a long time, and I haven't told anyone. It has been deeply traumatic. Edit. Thank you for the awards and the love. I just hope my story can help others in some way. I am working on healing and slowly opening up about what happened.
I was trapped in a brutally abusive, toxic relationship for 2.5 years. This woman was the incarnation of the devil. I've never really thought of it as rape but more severe abuse, but maybe it technically is? Essentially, this woman would threaten me whenever I would try to cut things off with her. I'd try to be honest and tell her I think we should part ways, and then she would hit me with "I'll call the cops and tell them you beat me / rapes me or I'll kill myself and tell everyone your abuse made me weak." Terrible excuse for a human being. Anyways, near the end her plan was to trick me into getting her pregnant. I didn't want to have sex with her, but every time I said no, she would threaten me. It was cruel and awful. I told myself that I had to do this or else it could end badly. One of the worst moments was when we were visiting my parents for a weekend. She wanted to have sex around midnight. I told her
He's
no.
pulling his cock out!
She then told me that if I didn't she would go wake up my parents and tell them I raped her. I shook her loose a few years ago and I am in an incredibly beautiful, healthy relationship today. Smile. Edit. Sex mostly involved things I could force myself to do. At the risk of TMI, it was oral and hand stuff. As a guy who didn't want to have sex with her, I couldn't really get in the mood and stay in the mood, but I played the I think there might be problems with myself and I need to see doctor about it. She would still threaten me and make me try. It was horrible. Edit 2. I did not expect this to blow up. I've never had a Reddit post get so much attention. It's a really unfortunate, sickening story, but if I can give anyone advice, it's to get out and get away as soon as possible. Make a plan. Get help from others and don't try to take care of it on your own.
He's pulling his cock out!
Having support from others to escape situations like these makes a massive difference. And don't feel like you're trapped. You can get out, no matter what kind of threats you get. Abusive, toxic relationships like these should not be put up with.
I don't ever think of it as rape, but more abuse. My older stepsister had 3 of her friends over. I was being the annoying little brother bothering them in her room. They were 15 to 16. I was around 12 or 13. It started with tickling, then with holding me down, then stripping me. They wanted to see a guy naked. This was pre-internet and it was tricky seeing the opposite sex nude. I fought like hell, but there were 4 of them and eventually got everything off. They did things and eventually I was able to break free. Ran to my room, put clothes on, ran outside to tell my mom and stepdad what they did. They said I shouldn't have been in there in the first place and to stop bothering them. That was it. That was the early 80s kids' justice system. Things were never the same between us after that.
High school party after my football game. Having a blast. All drunk and gonna crash it. Girl keeps flirting with me and being handsy. I have a GF. Shut her down all night. Go to bed. Giant bed. She tries to hop in with me. I tell her no way. She complains about having nowhere to sleep but the ground. I tell her fine. Sleep on your side, and I turn to face the wall to pass out. I was pissed drunk and had blacked out. Wake up next morning in my friend's athletic shorts and nothing else. Went to bed in jeans and t-shirt. Absolutely covered in scratches and hickeys. Confused and hungover. My dick still has that pin in a mouth, vagina situation going on. Apparently she dipped in the middle of the night after. According to my friends, what had to have been a good time based on her loud beatrix. They all cheering me on and passing out high fives and asking about it. I don't remember. I am shocked and confused. Next month is no one believing what happened. Dudes cheering me on. Girlfriend hating me. Her friends harassing me. Apparently I am an asshole that cheats, not a guy that was raped. Eventually it was forgotten. Days after the rape I vaguely remembered some of the event from when I was blackout. Really beat me up because I remember wanting her to stop and hating what was happening. She was riding me, but her hitting me with it no one will believe you lying. So I let it happen while I lay there. Was going in and out the whole time conscious-wise. Beef up part is it felt fantastic physically but I hated it. I wanted no part in any of it. 2 years later my GF cheated on me the night before Valentine's. Then lied and said she was raped so I wouldn't think she cheated. Spent V-Day getting her a rape kit done. 3 months later she left me for him. I find it next to impossible to trust or love others outside my direct family.
I wouldn't call it full-on rape, but I was sexually assaulted by a friend, now ex-friend, who pitied me for being a little person and thought I'd never get any, so she might as well do me a favor, even when I kept saying no and pushing her away.
An old workmate I had worked with for years got properly raped. He is well known to have a freakishly long doodle and not afraid to show it off. He was at a party and did what he does best and got it out. Some girl was so impressed she was coming onto him hard, following him around asking him to see it again and wanting to hook up. He knocked her back cause he has a girlfriend who wasn't there. They all fall asleep all around the house. He woke up to her on top of him inside her. He pushed her off and told her to beep off and rolled over and went back to sleep. Woke up to police arresting him and her crying. She said he raped her. His lawyers told him to plead guilty for the lesser jail sentence. He lost his girlfriend because she didn't believe him, and last time I spoke to him she wasn't letting him see his daughter. I must say we were very close and I believe his story. And I hear he's out of jail now but has disappeared. Very sad.
She was my GF at the time and I had expressed a desire to end the relationship due to us growing apart.